Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Ready Room Brief, where we quickly analyze some hot topics related to the Picard series.
So for this short episode, we're going to talk about something that didn't quite add up or didn't quite make sense in the first episode of Star Trek Picard, Remembrance. And that is, I guess, the timing around Daj and who she is.
No, sir, wait! Captain!
She is an android, but somehow a version of Data's daughter. The episode makes it clear that Data painted her in those paintings 30 years ago, before that episode, so 2369. That would have been around season 6, 2369. The Lal episode, Offspring, was season 3, a couple years before, around 2367. For an android to emerge consciousness, they need to have this positronic brain. But the only scientist who has ever been able to actually create a positronic brain that can stay stable is Dr. Noonien Soong, Data's father. He made a few. Data in Offspring creates Lal. Her positronic net breaks down. So the Remembrance episode implies that Maddox, the scientist who's trying to take Data away in the second season episode, The Measure of a Man, who then sort of becomes Data's friend. He goes to work at the Daystrom Institute. It implies that in the past, when the synths are banned, he goes underground. It implies that Maddox made her at that point.
Yes,
sort of implies that.
Would have been after the Mars attack, after the destruction of Romulus. It's under 10 years.
Now the problem with that, of course, is that why would Maddox have created these androids for Data based on a painting that Data gave Picard back in 2369?
When did Maddox see these paintings?
When would he have even seen these paintings? I do really want to throw in, quickly at least, that the painting that Data does, the two paintings that Data does of Daj's daughter, were very similar to John William Waterhouse's Miranda painting, and an iconic romantic painting, Friedrich's Wanderer Above the Sea of Fog, which is that you see in all the textbooks about what romanticism is, and they both sort of symbolizes a search for humanity. So what I think makes the most sense, or might actually explain some of what's going on, is after Lal's failure, in 2369, around season 6, Data's also going through his own dream sequences and learning more about his father and his past and his identity. And I think at that point, it's very likely that Data would re-examine the idea of having a daughter. Now, in the original episode, The Offspring, there's a line where Picard is like, I didn't even know you were working on Lal.
You should have told me you were creating this daughter.
Data says basically two things. He says, one, do other people to ask you whether they can have offspring? And also, he seems nervous about how Starfleet will react. And as we learned through the plot of that episode, Starfleet wants to take her away. There is a reason that Data would continue his work and try to make another daughter at around 2369 without telling anyone.
But he would maybe tell Maddox.
Maddox may be the only person and he might have to work with Maddox. So what I think, perhaps, is that Data started working on Daj back then, maybe just sort of blueprints at that point, or maybe even started making her, but didn't activate her. At some time before 2379, the events of Nemesis where he dies, he either in his will has all his research sent to Maddox, or before that gives it to Maddox, and then Maddox has it on hand. And some agreement, some promise that Maddox made to Data is that he wouldn't reveal the work on Daj because Data wouldn't want Starfleet to have. There's one thing we do know about Soong androids is that they all have holographic chips put in by their creator. They're interactive holographic chips that someone can actually communicate with. It's possible that now that we've seen all the trailer clips that have Data in it in this first episode, maybe we'll encounter Data again as an interactive hologram inside the chip. Now there's still some holes in this theory in that it doesn't quite make sense why Data would make twins. And that's awkwardly sort of associated with this fractal neuronic cloning, which seems to be a necessary step in creating Data-like stable positronic matrices. Neural net.
So could Data have maybe known this before he was killed in Nemesis and sent one of his neurons to Maddox? Yeah.
That, like, where else would they get the neurons?
Right. Is it possible maybe the attack on Mars, there's something that these synths knew that was why they attacked Mars that we don't know yet? So there was a motivation. Federation didn't like it, was mad about it, but that maybe what they did wasn't so bad after all.
To recap, the backstory of the creation of Daj and Soji by presumably Maddox in secret doesn't completely make sense. He wouldn't have known about the painting. He wouldn't have known about all these pieces. He wouldn't have had Data's initial positronic neuron unless Data actually started the process somehow. And this means maybe we'll get to see a holographic father, Data.
Uh-oh. I'm not detecting any intelligent life. But I am detecting a twin.